policy getting into the final exam. Are you getting the vaccine? So are they going to say, sorry, dude, you can't do track anymore? I'm curious. I mean, I am like, there's no wrong answer. Like, I'm okay if you guys say there is no way in heck if a policy says about a vaccine, I'm going to get it. Or if you say, yeah, I think everybody should be vaccinated. We should all like take the needle in the arm. And that's kind of like future policy. So that's kind of where I'm going at now. I have really bad allergies, so I don't think I'll personally get the vaccine. That's my excuse. Anybody here for any pro-vaxxers that are like, yeah, get it. It'll help. We'll open up. I know it forces an opinion, but I'm curious. What do you think?
I just feel like I don't know enough about it. Like I have to see enough people get it to see what.
It's not USDA approved or FDA approved. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know. See, I just don't even know.
Right. Well, even so, this is what's weird to me is I'm like, is the vaccine FDA approved? I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, didn't they used to do all kinds of it's really, see how they answer that question? Is that the question that I asked them? It's almost like a lying teenager. Like I just typed in, is the vaccine FDA approved? Here's their answer. Yes, all 3 FDA authorized vaccines are effective in preventing hospitalization and deaths from COVID-19. Does that answer the question to you guys? Am I reading too much into it? You can tell me if I'm questioning it too much. I mean, here's the second answer. The FDA has authorized the emergency use of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine to prevent. So this is kind of policy that's in formation. Right now, they can't say, yes, this is fully approved by the FDA and y'all can get it with no problem. My dad got it, so he's 76 years old this month. Is it safe? COVID vaccine will help protect you from getting COVID. You may have some side effects, which are normal. Signs that your body is building protection. These side effects may affect your ability to do daily activities. What? I don't know. I want some thoughtful opinions. What do you guys think? Biology? What do you think about biology of this vaccine? Has any of you gotten it yet? Maybe that's the question. Anybody gotten it? I don't think they're forcing us. I guess you're saying if you play sports. Anybody else playing sports in here?
Yeah, my coach said that if we travel, they're gonna like basically force us to take it because like they don't want us to like go to school and contract anything.
Okay. So that brings me to my second question. And there's 3. There's Moderna. There's Pfizer. Overseas, there's one that's called AstraZeneca, and they're saying that's causing blood clots and people are freaking keeling over dead. But then there's Johnson & Johnson, which is like a 1 shot. That's supposed to be like, all the other ones are 2 shots. The J&J is 1 shot. Actually, in Russia, there's one called the Sputnik, where they just shoot vaccine particles into your arms. That's a traditional vaccine. That's what I'd like, because then your body builds an immunity to it. In fact, I'd almost do the old way we do policy on chicken pox. Have you guys heard this before? In the 70s, we all had chicken pox parties. You just gave all your kids chicken pox and then you were vaccinated. So people would just get the chicken pox, get it over with, then you're done.
When you get the vaccine, you don't got to wear a mask no more.
That's not true either. I mean, I want to see, that's a good, if I get the vaccine, do I have to wear a mask? So this is policy that's in the making. This is why I wanted kind of an open dialogue. Do I have to mask up or whatever? I don't know. When you're fully vaxxed, recommendations on what activities you can do, you can gather. Can I still get COVID? The short answer is yes.
What's the point of getting it?
I mean, those are good questions. That's kind of none of the COVID vaccines provide 100% protection, so there is still a chance you get COVID. Is it mandatory to wear a mask? In Ohio, yes, but the 100 days federal demand was shut off. Was one of you guys going to present today? No? Shoot. Can't remember who said. I guess I could look that one up too. So anybody else? Thoughts, opinions, feelings, reactions?
I was just saying the point was though, because like you put that chemicals in your body, you know what I mean? You know, what it's doing for you.
What if they give you $1,000?
Man, it's still stupid though.
Right. I mean, so these are some of the things I know employees at Kroger's, they get money if they get the vaccine. So that was another thought. What if has anybody heard anything else in terms of like vaccine apps? Oh, here you go. Do you need to wear a mask after the COVID-19 vaccine? Health officials recommend that all people, including those who have received the vaccine, continue to wear face masks, remain socially distanced, wash their hands frequently, and stay at home after you get the vaccine. Any other questions? Let's see here. Oh, you're right. Michaela said, I don't think I'm going to make it due to car problems. Right. So do you travel a lot in your particular sport?
Last year we all did.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll do it this year.
Right. So you did during the pandemic too?
No, it's a fall sport.
Okay. So it was canceled this past fall,
Yeah.
but then 2 years ago you did?
Last year.
Right. Last school year?
2019.
Right.
School year.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's so is the coach debating like maybe we don't want to travel and
He just said that they're talking about if we travel that they're probably gonna make it mandatory.
so that's the vaccine passport that they're talking about. That's the policy. Like if you want to fly a plane, if you want to drive to Texas or even go overseas. So that's kind of the policy in the making. There's still kind of questioning if that makes any sense. So I think there are 120 million people that have already gotten stuck once. You get 2 shots. They said maybe 60 million people have gotten 1 shot. It's really hard to find data on what happens after you get the shot. And I don't know why that is. That's kind of like one thing that's been throwing me off a bit. Is like, you know, we're yearning for information. Like you're in college, you guys want to get more info. You want to see what's going on and find out what's going on. But that's kind of where we're at with it. I know Medicare and Medicaid will cover it. My mom got coronavirus, so she doesn't want to get the vaccine just yet. My dad did not get it, so he took the vaccine. He's still alive. It's been about a month and a half. There was a teacher yesterday who kind of like posted about feeling sick after getting the vaccine on Facebook. And somebody on Facebook took it down as misinformation, which was kind of strange because it's like those were her feelings that she was sick. Well, she died last week, and she was like a 25-year-old teacher. I mean, it's just so I'm like gathering as much info as I can. I'm trying to be really because I have family that's taken. I've got family arguing about it. I have people that are vaxxers, anti-vaxxers, this, that, and the other. But yeah, it's really hard to find information, and it's like the internet gets scrubbed when you do find a story. The next day, it's gone. So I don't know. You know, that's where they say, is the internet trustworthy information? Are they making up these cases? Are people really sick? Do you guys, anyone in this room, know someone personally who has gotten the vaccine? Who do you know in here? Is he feeling fine and he got 2 shots, or was it the? And what month did he get it? Was it? Okay. What age bracket is he in? Okay. Yes, my dad took it. He was 75 and older. You're allowed to get it. So that was, you know, I still wish he didn't, because he doesn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? I'm like, do you really need it? Like, you don't go anywhere. But because he works from home, he's able to do all of his work from home. And that's, you know, something that's come up. I know that Medicare and Medicaid would pay for it, because that's what he's on now. He gets physician services, other medical health services. They pay about 80% of his stuff. I think he even got heart surgery on Medicare and Medicaid. That was $100,000, but they cover it. So that was when he was 67. He had 90% blockage in 3 spots. Any other thoughts about just health coverage, the vaccine in general, coronavirus policy? How are you guys feeling about the way they're handling it? You know what I mean? Like, you could even compare. Now we've got 2 administrations that have dealt with it. Which one did it better? And again, there's no wrong answer. This is just policy discussion. Like, would you rather have the orange man in office again, or do you like this old geezer we have? You know, either one is fine. They're both old dudes about to croak. I think the orange man got the virus, right? Didn't they say he got it? He didn't die. Who's the orange man? You never heard Trump called Cheeto Man Trump? Because he always does suntan with the goggles. And so, like, he's always got like an orange tan, and it looks like a spray tan almost. It's a way of making fun of him. I know it's not nice. I should just say President Donald Trump. How he handled it, and then President Joe Biden and how he's handling it. Because they are also changing some, they're opening up the payment protection plans again, where like there's paycheck payroll protection program to help the economy. And each of your all's different cities, how is the economic situation looking like? Is it getting better? Is it worse? Did Trump help it? Did Biden help it? Or are they both making it worse? Like, if you think of your own hometown, or even family, friends who have jobs and stuff opening up, anyone from a city that's still shut down?
It just shut Detroit back down
Did they really?
till May 1st.
So what's going on there? How's that handling?
Don't nobody listens. So nobody's people-
Right. So are the businesses still open? You can do like drive-through, carry out, and
It's just carry on. Everything's still closed.
okay. But you're saying nobody's listening to
Yeah,
your,
like everybody go out. So
okay. And is that because they test more, or they're because Florida's wide open, Detroit, Michigan, New York, and then like LA, California, they're all shut.
Mhm.
Has it affected anyone you know with jobs or employment?
mhm.
So they all have been able to work from home or do like,
They still work. Check this out.
okay. I'm trying to think of other questions because this is like doing the full spectrum of policy. Food pantries, church food pantries, things like that. Food prices, like just kind of getting into inflation, deflation. I forget which one is worse. You've got inflation, deflation, and hyperinflation. That's supposed to be the worst because that's what we saw in Zimbabwe and Weimar Germany. And people brought a wheelbarrow full of cash and couldn't buy a loaf of bread. That's kind of weird. Or the price you would pay for your meal right when you got there because by the end of the eating out dinner, your meal price went up. Like that's hyperinflation. And that's when you're like printing so many dollars that it's just like crazy. Other policy questions. Oh yeah, questions about the final, because the other option was to give you guys like multiple choice from the book. That's boring to me. So instead, your own unique situation. It could be about the vaccine policy in general, but with Intro to Social Welfare, the final is a paper instead of an exam. Do you guys like exams better? Like multiple choice on the book, A, B, C, D. You just like Scantron. Would you rather that we all come in and do a Scantron or a paper?
A paper.
Right.
Hey, girl, so
You don't like Scantrons? I don't either, and I don't think any of you are social work majors either, right? So we actually have to like take this on a Scantron to get our license. Like you graduate in 2022 or whatever it is, you've got to take a 150 question licensure exam. Not much of it is on this. More of it is on like human behavior in the social environment. But here's the final. So you pick, it could be about your hometown, Detroit, Michigan. It could be your major, the vaccine policy on if you want to play sports. And then does that also make your scholarship contingent on it? Okay. So if you say, look, I don't want to take a vaccine or like whatever. Okay. So that could be the policy, but basically it's your own policy case study. Select and introduce a policy. So it could be a law, a regulation, even a court case. We were doing that last class, kind of going through the different court cases on discrimination and stop and frisk. A case that you have encountered in your work or your personal life, even in your community. So Cincinnati, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, Columbus, Indiana, I think they just cut out their masks. You will narrate your experience with this policy, so writing it up in a few pages, telling the reader all you know experientially about the policy. And you can cite it. You can pull like, here's from the federal law, here's the stuff. There's that coronavirus policy. I got some big money and I was excited for hyperinflation because I put all my money in Coinbase and silver coins and it doubled in price. Or I hate inflation because I kept all my money in the bank and that, $1,000 I had saved bought me half as much from last year to this year, something like that. Background history and anecdotal evidence, popular opinion. So you can write as much as you want. And then if you're succinct about it, cover a few pages. It's an APA, so it would have the cover page and references, but it's just 3 pages of writing. And just kind of going through your own policy analysis and thoughts and opinions. And then if you were king of the world or queen of the world, how you would change the policy. How would you do the policy differently? Or is it perfect as is? So that's kind of the spiel on that one. I know that this one is for more of next week, but this dude breaks down inflation in such a way, it's like so amazing that I could never do it if I tried. But just breaking down why people even go into alternate forms of currency or buy all the shit they need for the next year, like all the food, all the cars are supposed to go up in price. Anybody heard about that? So if you're looking to get a car this summer, or anybody needing to buy a car soon, really, which one are you looking? Used, they're saying, is even more, which is so weird. They're saying used cars. And I don't know if that's because financing, like they want to keep pumping out new cars. So they've got like 0% interest on a Chevy Spark because it's only 12,000. The Chevy Bolt, is that the one that's fully plug-in? Nissan Leaf. SUV. Gas prices, that's another info. Anybody notice the gas price? Which cars are you looking at, if you don't mind me asking?
I haven't really started looking.
Just anything that is, when I was your age, I just get anything that brought me point A to point B. I found an 86 Honda Civic. I think it had 100,000 miles on it for $500. I drove it 110,000 miles after that. And it got 40 miles per gallon. Little Honda and Toyotas, which, so inflation policy, we also have, that's this week. So like for tomorrow, like when policy goes wrong, and this is about what they and why they had a 2008 financial crisis in terms of the housing and the crash and all of that. And so like even the dude, and this was also between, I'm trying to think of a bad nickname for George Bush and then Obama. So that was 08. So literally the election was 08. We had this huge crash. Some blame it on the Republicans, some blame it on the Democrats. Like, again, I just like real policy discussion, like what's going on. I won't take a side, but just trying to find like solutions and answers to it. But I think Bush was on until November of that year, and then Obama was elected November of that year. And this is freaking pretty detailed and amazing on how all the crap went down, because there's a lot. The only other one I experienced that you guys didn't get to go through was the stock market crash of 87. Same type of thing where it's just kind of cheap money, a lot of inflation in the late 70s and then early 80s. If you wanted to buy a house, it was 12% interest back then. So it was like, say you bought a $100,000 property, you had to pay $12,000 in interest every year on that property. And that's crazy to me. It's like, how do you end up paying that type of a loan off at 12% interest? Right now, today, we have 3% interest. So the argument is with inflation, we can't raise interest rates. Like our whole system would just come to a catastrophic halt. And then, yeah, anybody that wants to present live and in person in class, I can still film you. And if you want to film yourself, that is okay too. I understand it sucks getting up in front of everybody. And that's kind of where I'm left, because I'm trying to give you guys time to watch. These are a little bit longer than the videos I had previously, so I wanted to let you out in time to be able to watch those in your own personal space. And any questions? Because we're like for real getting up to the end of the book, which is exciting. Hopefully you all got your money's worth out of the book. If you bought it for $0, you got your money's worth. If you're just using the PowerPoints, you got your money's worth. I'm proud. They give us all of this and kind of the details of everything with the policies that we've gone through. And hopefully the policies work. We had 4 years of Orange Man in the office changing policies, and now we'll have Biden. I don't even know what they have the nickname for him right now is. Maybe they say he's senile or something, or like got Parkinson's. I don't know. But hopefully his policies change it and fix it. We don't know yet. It's only been like a few months. And it's a global thing though too, which is weird. But the policy in the United States really drives the rest of the world. So if there's a lot of people say they describe our economy as like a virus. If the US gets a cold, then Latin America will have pneumonia. That's the way people always describe that. So like when we have a small recession and not really a great recession or depression, Latin America, even Canada, and the rest of the world can notice a major, massive recession. And our economy really is global now. What I wanted to finish on too was anybody know what happened in the Suez Canal like a few weeks ago? It really wasn't advertised a ton, but it stopped global trade for literally 5 days. Does everybody know where the Suez Canal is? Because I almost forgot. I always think Panama Canal, which is how, like, say somebody sells something in Florida and wants to get it to California cheap, they ship it through the Panama Canal and get over to California. Suez Canal is the same idea, but is selling something in like Asia to Europe or like China, India to get to the United States. And so they realized we had to fix our policy on shipping when this happened. So this dude got stuck and blocked up all of global shipping for 5 days. Did any of you guys hear about this? For real? Okay. That's fine. It is interesting. Apparently, there's 18,000 train containers on that. And somebody said they found 1,000 dead children and 2,500 alive trafficked children in these containers. That's another, again, I'd like to vet the sources. So I right now don't have a ton, but they have the person in charge of the ship under arrest. They're they're all confined, and they had to dig it out though. So it was called the Ever Given, and it blocked all of international shipping for 5 days. Because it's a tiny.
A massive container ship has been dislodged from the banks of the Suez Canal after a massive effort to free it. The owner of the Ever Given says the 400-meter long vessel has been straightened out, but it is not yet fully afloat. It became wedged in the canal a week ago amid high winds. Excavators have been digging out the side of the canal, while as many as 11 tugboats have been pulling it back into position. The incident has blocked traffic in the waterway, leaving hundreds of cargo ships waiting in line. At the very latest, we've got Chris Cover here with us from DW Business. Good morning. Good morning. Now, why has it taken nearly a week to get this vessel halfway dislodged?
Well, we're looking at three factors here. First, the ship is extremely heavy. Second one is apparently the force with which the Ever Given was run aground was quite strong. And the third one, it is a narrow canal, so you don't have very much room to maneuver. That said, overnight, we know that several dredgers had totaled vacuumed up 27,000 cubic meters of mud and sand. As you said, it took more than 10 tugboats to at least partially straighten out the Ever Given, and it took the moon, because the moon actually, over the weekend, the full moon, brought the spring tide, which also helped along there. However, the challenges remain. We said the bow is still not freed, they haven't dislodged yet of the ship, and the high tide that has been helpful is receding this week. So the clock's standing here.
So that's Egypt.
The Suez Canal is part of one of the busiest trade routes in the whole world. What's the extent of the damage, Chris, to world trade?
Well, experts have been saying the damage is worth about $10 billion per day in world trade.
$10 billion a day.
Yeah, and here's another figure for you. Because of the Ever Given blocking the canal, Canal Authority around 370 ships on both sides. Each side of the canal, we're waiting for passage. It is impossible to say what the individual cargo on each ship is. So that could be anything from video games to toilet paper. So it shows you how frail some of the trade links are in this situation. And obviously, this accident has been a nightmare to Egypt as well. The stated Canal Authority losing about $13 million each day in fees of ships not being able to pass.
So that office chair I ordered for my home office that's probably built in China, might take it a while longer still to get there.
Yeah.
World commerce in peril because of a ship blocking a canal. Could this happen again?
It sounds like an almost refreshingly simple problem, doesn't it? A ship just blocking a canal. It is the size of the ships that is part of the problem here. Nowadays, these giant freighters are 4 times the size that they have been 25 years ago. The Ever Given weighs 220,000 tons. Now, that might not tell you much, but it is the length of the height of the Empire State Building. It isn't. It's
Almost half a kilometer long.
Yeah, some call it too big to sail, these kind of ships. And as they keep growing, yes, the danger of that happening again persists.
Chris, thank you very much. Chris Cover from DW Business.
So international trade policy and how it affects us, that's another big question. But how many of you guys own something that was made in China? Maybe.
You said what? Almost something
Own anything made in China.
Probably on
Right. So, and yeah, and he said if you ordered something and did whatever you do, it was blocking it for a week. So that was in Egypt. And you would think like, well, why don't they just fly it? Or why don't they just, they ship it, because that's probably the only affordable way to go. Extra credit if people find out what some of the cargo is on some of that ship for real, because I have heard all kinds of theories, and some people, as your presentation on human trafficking came up, when I heard that one, I wanted to get some citations and references. And again, it's stuff that like disappears. So this is how you can go around Africa, but if you cut through here in Egypt, it's a 14-day China to US. If you go around it, it is a 24-day shipment. So most people go through there and cut through that little tiny, gosh, that's so small, that Suez Canal. So, and it must be, look, the ship was huge, but you can see why only one can fit through at a time, maybe in each direction. I mean, that's kind of what you're looking at. So, and they were saying about 180 ships on each side. I think they have opened, they've made it so it's kind of 2 ways up here, things that you order on Amazon from China. You guys ever order something and then you try to return it to Walmart and they say, you know what, go ahead, don't return it, donate it to charity and keep the money. Usually clothes, like I've done it twice now. I bought my wife some pajamas and it was something cheap I found, and then they're like, don't even return it because it was from China. And they just say, here's your money back. I'm like, really? So it's that cheap to make it, and they don't even want the product back? It's happened twice. I was like, so I think this is where the dude blocked it. And that one only has a one-way. It would be like blocking a one-way street. So supposedly, what's the name of that again? Sound of Freedom. I mean, that's what you see on the human trafficking presentation that you did. That's what you see them in, is those containers. So if this is true, I don't know how it'll get out. I said it was a military operation, but in the middle, got a pedophile getting arrested.
I don't think I can do this job, Tim. As soon as I lay down, all I see are those kids' faces. long you been doing this? 12 years. How do you do it?
So those are the
It is
shipping.
fastest growing international crime network that the world has ever seen. It has already passed the illegal arms trade. Soon it's gonna pass the drug trade.
Señor Timoteo, tú rescatas niños, ¿verdad? Quizá puedas ayudarme a encontrar a mi hermana.
The FBI
Imagine
agent.
walking into a room right now, seeing an empty bed. What would we do?
I think that's Tijuana, Mexico. If anybody's been to San Diego, that's the border crossing.
For Homeland Security, you know we can't go off rescuing kids in Colombia.
This Joe tears you to pieces. This is my only chance to put those pieces back together. I'm talking about extracting an 11-year-old girl from an army of rebels. Not just her. I'm talking about rescuing hundreds of kids. She could be a block down the road, or she could be in Moscow, Bangkok, LA. Over 2 million children.
So I think that is the image I was remembering, the shipping container that they load the kids into. And if it was blocked up for 5 or 7 days, only half probably survived. So that's kind of what I was going for. And I'm kind of digging on the info, as it is hard to find, but it's, they have to unload all of that cargo. It's 18,000 of those containers. They're all as big as a room. 18,000 takes like days to unload. So, and things you may have ordered recently, they might take a little bit longer than you expected. And the only other way, so they have another, you go around it and it takes 10 more days. And then this is the one I thought it was at first, is that Panama Canal. Because we have the same thing when you're doing international shipping through the Panama Canal. They're digging a new one through Nicaragua. So international shipping policy and whatnot. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about the final stuff, let me know. And that is all I have for today. See ya.
Bye.
All right. Have a good one.